We've known now for a little while that Danny Boyle was supposed to direct the new James Bond film. However, Danny Boyle then departed the new James Bond film over what they are calling the dreaded creative differences. Creative differences is what caused Danny Boyle to leave the new James Bond film, which has left a lot of questions in the air, including, what was it? What were these creative differences? Some people were saying it was about the villain. Some people were saying it was about whether Bond dies. Some people were saying about who the Bond girl is going to be. Could be any one of those things. Could be many of those things. However, we have just found out one thing that Danny Boyle had in mind, and that is who was going to be his villain. It looks like he had set to have as his next Bond villain Wonder Woman actor Saïd Taghmaoui, who is going to play him. Now, I actually like him very much. He's just a really cool character actor who pops up in a lot of stuff, and every time he pops up, he's really solid in it. And he recently did an interview revealing that he was supposed to be, and he was all set to be, the next James Bond villain. However, he says, now that Danny Boyle isn't there, he's not really sure if he's still going to be the villain or not. Here's what he had to say in a recent interview. Saïd said this: "I'm supposed to do the next James Bond playing the lead bad guy. I was cast by Danny Boyle, and just now he left the project. So, of course, there's some uncertainty. We don't know who the director will be, and the producers don't know if they're going to go Russian or Middle East with the baddie right now. I literally just received a message saying, if they go Middle East, it's you. If they go Russian, it's somebody else. It's the story of my life. Always on that line between something that could change my life and something that disappears. And oh, to have the life of an actor in Hollywood." And so, yeah, that has got to be a really frustrating situation for an actor like him to be in right now. Like, you're told you've got this role. You think you are going to be the next in a long, glorious line of on-screen James Bond villains, and then it all just kind of falls apart. The director leaves. Now the producers don't know if they want to even have the villain be Middle Eastern. They might want to have him go Russian and all that kind of stuff, and now you just don't know where you're at. I'll say this. I think when I first read about him possibly being a Bond villain, the first thought in my head was, perfect. He'd be great for that. I mean, Saïd is one of these character actors who can play light, he can play heavy. He can play comedic, he can play deadly serious. And he's got this, one of the things I really respect about a lot of actors in Hollywood is their voices. There are some great actors who have okay voices, whatever, but there are some actors like a Jeremy Irons, like obviously like a James Earl Jones. There are just actors out there who've got this really, what's the name of the actor from Westworld? I'm forgetting his name right now. Anyway, Saïd has got one of those voices. When he really turns it on, I think he's got a great voice, and I think he would be a wonderful Bond villain. But now it's all going to come down to whether or not they want to go Russian or not. We'll have to wait and see. And then that raises the question. Is this one of those issues that was the creative difference between Danny Boyle and the producers? If so, it seems pretty stupid that they wouldn't have had that figured out before he signed on to direct. But whatever, we'll just have to wait and see. So maybe we'll still see Saïd as the next Bond villain. Maybe we won't, but I think it's an interesting development nonetheless.